Timmy, I'm sure your teachers have taught you all about the many benefits of sharing.
Yeah, sometimes I get to share my lunch money with Jimbo the bully on my bus ride, and benefit by not getting kicked in the head.
Well, Timmy, sharing isn't just for you and your little school chums. It works in the business world too. And we call that amazing innovation the sharing economy.
I can't wait to see how many ways this sharing economy ends up screwing me and my mommy and daddy over.
Well, by the end of this lesson, you'll know at least some of those ways, Timmy. You see, we're trying to disrupt the corrupt system of taxi cabs and replace it with our own system.
Is our system better?
Well, it's different. You see, Timmy, a lot has changed since the beginning of our modern labor movement.
Isn't that when workers got together and fought for 40-hour work weeks, weekends off, bans on child labor? And then the middle class really took off.
Yes, and we hope the sharing economy will put an end to all of those terrible things and create a blossoming of freedom for workers around the world.
Is this the part where my mommy and daddy get to share their hard-earned income with a giant corporation and get nothing in return?
Yep.
Fine, go on.
That's the spirit, Timmy. You see, our goal is to bring an end to the long-standing tradition of what are called taxi medallions.
My medallion! Oh, those sound expensive.
Well, they sure can be. In fact, thanks to many local governments' long history of limiting the supply of medallions in exchange for campaign donations and other kickbacks, the price has skyrocketed, with medallions selling for over $1 million in places like New York City.
So that's a huge racket, and you just want to replace it with a different racket. What's the point?
Well, the point is I couldn't figure out how to get in on that one. But with the sharing economy, I'm in on the ground floor.
But won't that hurt the cab drivers who thought they knew what they were getting into?
Oh, sure, Timmy. Among current cab drivers, there may be a massive spike in bankruptcies, evictions, foreclosures, divorces, heart attacks, suicides, and other slight inconveniences. But that's all part of being a disruptor, Timmy. And when you see the money rolling in, it'll all be worth it.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Now, we'll need to use incredibly innovative applications created by companies such as Uber and Lyft. Innovations that can upset the apple cart of history.
What's innovative about calling a taxi on a phone?
Well, the real innovation lies in solving age-old dilemmas, like how to get across town to your favorite Starbucks in a neighborhood that's nicer than the one you can afford to live in.
It seems like this is a solution in search of a problem, Mr. C.
Well, the problem with me not having enough money yet, Timmy. But it's not only the investors who benefit. You see, these sharing economy solutions like Lyft and Uber are wonderful alternatives to classical employment because you'll have the freedom to work when and where you want for as much money as you want.
Except for the as much money as you want part, right?
Yes.
And probably the work when and where you want part too.
Also yes. But thanks to our many investors, we'll be able to provide rides that are unsustainably cheap. At least for a little while.
I may be a simple child, but I bet there's somebody behind this that's making these rides unsustainably cheap.
Haha, Timmy, can't sneak anything past you. That's right. A beautiful thing called venture capital will allow Uber and Lyft to operate at a net loss on every ride, building up trust, brand awareness, and loyalty. And most importantly, driving existing taxi companies into the ground.
So these companies get a huge cut of every ride a driver makes for doing nothing but developing a crummy old app, and they still can't make a profit? Sounds like maybe they suck.
Well, Timmy, would it suck to innovate?
Whatever it is, yes, it's not innovative, and yes.
Timmy, you're forgetting one of the other amazing innovations. The best part is, these companies can simply be cloned to fit any sort of business model you want. Food delivery, travel, hotel rooms, handcrafted crap. You name the menial task and we can monetize it for our benefit.
You can get paid for that? All my daddy does is menial tasks.
Well, I'm sure that's true.
Sounds like the people who actually do the work need to band together and demand a better deal.
Well, they can't. The best part about all of this, because these workers have been declared contractors and not actual employees, they have no right to any sort of dirty, problematic collective bargaining.
Or the dirty, problematic minimum wage?
Precisely, Timmy. And if somebody doesn't want to work for $1.50 an hour with no benefits, why, somebody else will probably take their place. Often multiple somebodies, driving prices and income down.
Jeepers, it's like before there were unions and before the New Deal.
Haha, Timmy Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
I can't afford that. So rich people get the gold mine and poor people get the shaft. again. How come rich people always get to make the laws?
Oh, not so, Timmy. You and your little contractor buddies can always raise the hundreds of millions of dollars to get a new law passed.
How do you figure that one?
Well, for example, if you were to work for DoorDash for 139 million hours at their average hourly wage of $1.45 before tips.
That's all day, every day for 15,000 years.
Well, I did say you'd need some friends to help you put in the required elbow grease, but soon enough, you'll have the 200 million you need to almost have enough to fight against California's Proposition 22 that gave you and your friends the freedom to be contractors and not to be anchored to any one job, with its terrible siren songs of benefits and stability. Now, doesn't that sound swell, Timmy?
Or to the terrible siren song of a living wage. I know, it sounds terrible. But if these vulture capitalists...
Venture.
You heard me. If they're keeping the prices artificially low, isn't the business model gonna implode?
Well, perhaps, eventually, but it's all a matter of getting out at the right time. But I'm betting that after the cab companies go the way of the dodo, we can always jack up prices and make up for lost time. And we can expand our innovation to charge restaurants massive fees for deliveries that really slice into their bottom line, just as supply side Jesus may have intended.
So fewer options for riders, less money for drivers, huge fees for restaurants.
Precisely.
And how can these restaurants with their razor-thin margins pay the huge fees on their delivery orders?
Well, I don't know. They better figure it out, though.
Who pays for unemployment when something goes wrong?
No one. It's not available to contractors.
This is all driving working conditions back to before the Industrial Revolution.
Well, we could hope so. But, Timmy, our innovations are
There's
going
nothing innovative about this. You want to socialize the risk and privatize the profits.
Well, ultimately, yes. But what we really want to do is replace the stodgy, old, boring middlemen of the cab companies with the slick, modern, and innovative middlemen of the sharing economy.
Why do we need dumb old middlemen at all? Maybe we could create a co-op where the workers get a fair shake for once.
Oh, Timmy, unfortunately, all over the world, even as we speak, we hear the foul whispers of that dirty C word. These dastardly co-ops have decimated the proud 10 or 12-year history of these groundbreaking sharing economy companies. Uber, Lyft, poor Airbnb, Deliveroo. Timmy, won't anyone think of poor Deliveroo? They've all lost billions of dollars of company value, and the rich ones are the ones who are truly suffering.
Sounds like some rich jackwagons need to cut back on the Starbucks and avocado toast. Anyway, these companies can always get corporate food stamps or something, right? Even though you vote against them for real people?
Timmy, how am I supposed to make money off of that co-op nonsense?
I don't know. I guess you better figure it out, though, Mr. Corporate.
Timmy, no backsass.